So we've talked about a lot of different topics over the course of this season, from like in-person events to virtual to hybrid to data. What's been like your biggest takeaway or your few big takeaways from this season?
It's tough. Expectations are higher than ever across both in-person and virtual, and it seems like those two formats are kind of forcing each other to raise the bar.
Yeah, I agree. I think and we've talked about this before, but we all got so used to virtual, and that was great for what it was, especially with no in-person events happening during the pandemic. But I think that event professionals have learned that they don't necessarily want to leave behind those virtual elements as we, like you said, head into this new season of events where in-person is back. Virtual just adds not only more engagement opportunities and extended reach, but more data capture as well. I really loved our episode on event data and ROI and how important it is to leverage those virtual elements to capture data and then use that data to actually improve experience. And I think, yeah, the same thing goes for in-person impacting virtual. There are just those immersive, interactive elements of in-person that we all know and love. But it's been really cool to see and hear from our guests about how to kind of take those in-person experiences and incorporate them into virtual experiences. We're kind of all over and not willing to accept a virtual experience where we're just being talked at. We want, as virtual attendees, to feel like, we're not an afterthought, that we're an equal part of a hybrid experience or an in-person experience that has a virtual layer. Yeah, I think that's going to be a theme that we see continuing into the next event season for sure.
Yeah, like what a time to be alive. Like for event professionals, I think we've learned over this season in the interviews that we've done that there's never been, potentially other than like the Great Recession or 9/11, like it's right up there as one of the biggest moments and biggest evolutions in the events industry. And that evolution is happening real time, and it's just amazing to watch. And it's been really cool to be able to, that was kind of the vision going into the season, was like, can we capture this moment? Because it's really this transition, and we don't know what's going to happen. we don't know what's going to happen even during the course of the season, and I think it's been interesting just to see it all evolve. But yeah, I mean, we went from kind of business as usual in 2019 to an immediate pivot to virtual events in 2020. But those virtual events, at least at first, were pretty awful. Then they got better, right? Then the world started opening back up, and then there's a little mix of both. Now in person is really big, and we're starting to get hybrid events that we don't want to call hybrid events, but we still are, along with a mix of better virtual events for more like kind of year-round engagement, right? So even though they say that diamonds are created by pressure, I think that the event industry has really evolved and is continuing to evolve with this pressure, and they're starting to evolve into this next stage where events are not this kind of siloed discipline, this siloed piece of marketing or whatever whatever the intention of your event is. It's really much more well connected to the broader user experience and customer experience now, overall, and that's just getting better and better. And then to your point about data and ROI, tying into all of those systems and things, that's just going to get better as you collect data, as you deal with integration challenges, as you figure out how to leverage that data, how to tie data together from multiple different platforms, from events platforms, from CRMs, all these different things together. You're getting a more useful picture of your customers, what they care about, and how you can best serve them. And I think that events are going to play a larger role in that than they ever have. And keeping those attendees and prospects and customers engaged and coming to the event is probably still the challenge. That hasn't changed. That's the one thing that hasn't changed, right? But there's just more options now, and more tools for us to be able to use to engage those attendees. The thing that I think we maybe failed to mention in previous episodes that I think is important while we have a chance to wrap up is that it's not just production value, right? Like you can, if you can polish something all day long, but if you're not telling a good story, people aren't going to tune in, right? It could be the most high production value, you know, you got David Copperfield up on the stage and fireworks and, you know, all the craziness, but if you're not telling them a good story or showing that you understand what they care about or providing them value, something that they can actually learn, take away, implement into their own organizations to improve their own events programs or to improve their own businesses, whatever they may be, then you're not hitting the mark. And so continuing to up just the, not just the quality of the production, but also just the quality of the storytelling. And I think that a lot of that, we need to probably start thinking about getting away from flat PowerPoint presentations, and just more engaging ways to bring people in.